Hi, I'm Jordan, and this is Madeline with the I Can't Have Nice Things YouTube channel. Today we're dropping off the old Cub Cadet. We just finished up in the last video, and we're getting two more today that need some work.
And I'm helping out.
Go ahead and buckle up. Today we're going to be working on these Cub Cadet 1018s. Let's do a quick walk around. This one's in pretty decent shape. This one is a little bit rougher. Has some grass growing on the deck down here. Both of these mowers are identical. The story is these mowers were inherited from a family member passing away, and they have never heard these run. So I walk around looking down at the motor here. It's used. That fuel filter is extremely dirty. And this battery is about 5 years old. We're gonna change that out and try to turn this engine over and see what it does. Okay, now that we have the battery installed, when we press the brake down and try to hit the key switch, nothing really happens. We have an electrical issue somewhere or a safety switch that is disengaged. We'll bypass the solenoid to see if it has spark and find out if one of these safety switches is triggered. So the best way to test to see if your starter solenoid has gone out or you have a safety switch somewhere on the mower tripped is bypassing the solenoid. I have the safety switch on the seat disengaged. I probably can't show you that for liability reasons, but there is a solenoid down here that I can cross that'll engage the starter. If I have the key on and the starter turns it over, it should fire up. If it starts, that means most likely our solenoid is bad and we can change it, or the key switch is bad. Now let's go ahead and jump this solenoid and see if the motor turns over. Turn the key on. Stick it up in here. Okay, so that tells us we have spark to the engine, which means the starter solenoid is either bad or it is the key switch. So what we will do is turn the key on and run a test on the solenoid to see if it's getting power. If the solenoid's getting power, that means the solenoid itself is bad. So basically all starter solenoid is a big switch. Those two wires, one coming in and one going out, one goes to the starter and one goes to the battery. So basically just a light switch there. When power is applied to that switch, it will open and close. Now there are two wires that feed power to that switch to open and close it. We will test those, and if they have power, that means that switch itself is bad. Now I went ahead and removed this plate that was in front of the starter solenoid just to make it easier to get to the solenoid with our multimeter. What we're gonna do is find the small red positive wire that connects into the bottom of this starter solenoid, and we're going to check when we turn the key on if this wire has 12 volts. If it does, that means this solenoid is getting the power to close but is not closing. Okay, so we'll pop this little wire off here. This is the female end of that wire. We will put our positive end of our multimeter in there and then ground the other side of the multimeter somewhere up here where this ground wire is, and turn the key on and see if we have 12 volts. I'll hit the key and we'll see if the voltage comes up. Every time I hit the key, it's sending power to that solenoid to close it, and nothing's happening, which tells me that this starter solenoid is fried. Could just be old. I will do one more check though by cleaning the ends up on the solenoid itself to make sure we're getting proper contact before I go ahead and switch it out. So a bit of good news for this mower is I cleaned the end of that bottom solenoid terminal where that power was coming in really good with some of the sandpaper here. And it seems to be making contact now. Let's go ahead and see what it does. So it's not running very good, but at least the solenoid is engaging now. That's one step closer to getting this mower back up and running. All right, before I go any further, I'm gonna go ahead and check the air filter and change out this fuel filter here. Down here on the deck, go ahead and clean all this stuff out, possibly grease some things to see if we can lube some stuff up. Now, just to show you how bad this fuel filter is, that thing is completely clogged with garbage. And some of it actually fell out as I was messing with it, so that needed to be changed. Now that we've got the blades all sharpened and the deck all greased up, we'll take this thing for a shakedown run and see how it performs. All right, I just got done with the test drive. Overall, it seems to be mowing pretty good. The deck's nice and even, transmission's strong, and motor's strong. The only thing that I can say at this point is the, I guess the baffles and the exhaust are probably blown out. I'm gonna have to look in to see if you can even get a replacement exhaust for this one. I mean, I'm sure you can, just whether it's worth it or not. It's a bit loud, but I'm gonna go ahead and reinstall this plate right down here that was in front of the solenoid, and then we're going to do a spark plug and an oil change, and then this thing should be ready to go. Okay, the oil's changed, the filters are changed. That mower is ready to go, which brings me to this one. We didn't rob any parts off of this one to make that one run, so we have a pretty good chance of getting this one fired up today. We went ahead and changed our fuel filter and our spark plugs and blew the air filter out. But as soon as I took the old fuel filter off, nice, clean, fresh fuel came out, and it doesn't seem to have any water in it. That's the new fuel filter. That's all we needed to do to try and test fire this machine, so we'll go ahead and do that now. so I'm gonna have to end the video here. I lost a little bit of footage due to some SD card issues. Wasn't a big deal. The videos looked so similar. The mowers look identical anyway. So you're not missing out on a whole lot, but I did tack a little bit of four-wheeling footage on the end of the video here just for some fun. Thanks for watching.